right, well, it's been about 2 months since we scaped the 125 and made this a massive planted jungle. I've made some small additions here and there. As you can tell, I've added a whole lot more plants on the top here, and the plants we already had have just exploded in growth. One of the newest cool leaves is this guy right here. If we can get it focused here. This is a brand new Monstera leaf that is just absolutely perfect. It has all of its striations. I love that guy. But overall, all the plants on top, all the plants inside have done amazing. They've grown incredibly. And usually at that 2-month mark is when I like to get into the tank, trim up some, straggling plants, maybe shape it a little bit, clean one of the filters, maintain the plant wall. And that's pretty much what I'm gonna do today, is show you how I do a light maintenance session on a planted tank of this size. I get a lot of questions about the plant wall here. I get a lot of questions about the maintenance routine of the tank. And pretty much it's just gonna be a fun, light, simple video of maintaining this planted jungle. So let's dive right into it, and we'll start with the plant wall. Typically with the plant wall, some of the plants will struggle, as you can see here. We have some dying leaves here, which is totally normal. That is just gonna be the life cycle of it. But what I like to do is just get in there, and really just for visual, I like to take all of those off just to get them out of the way. And if you're wondering how we did the plant wall, all this is a trellis from a company called Super Trellis, and they send you any size you need and you can make any shape you want. And all of these plants, all the roots go into the tank. And as long as you provide them with some grow lights like these, they will grow incredibly well. Those grow lights you can find on Amazon. They're amazing. They're budget friendly, Sansi clip-on grow lights. But I just want to keep trying to find some dead plants in here. So over here you can see what's happening with this Monstera leaf here is it's unfortunately just not getting enough light, and it doesn't have enough support. So this one probably in another week is going to die off. So I'm just going to preemptively get in here and snap it off, just like so. Take that off and we can just throw that away. Look for any more that are not doing too good. Down in here, these aren't doing too hot. This guy isn't doing too hot. Get up here. And another thing too I've been doing is I've gotten these little plant clips right there that hold the vine to the wall. So it just lets the plant go wild. And eventually I'm hoping this entire wall of the hallway is just filled with plants. With the peace lilies, they have a lot stronger of a stem. And this leaf right here, I'm just not liking how it's looking. It's looking a little crispy. So what I do with the peace lilies, I try to get as close to the base as I can. And I just give it a nice little snip, pull it right out, and we're already looking better. So that's pretty much all it takes to maintain the top part of the plant wall. As you can see, there wasn't that many, but as I was telling Max as we were doing this, is if you leave those, struggling plant leaves on the plant is constantly trying to send energy to help revitalize that leaf. And if you know it's just not gonna do good, get rid of it. It's gonna lead to healthier and better growth down the road, and it just makes your plant wall look that much more healthy because you don't see a lot of dead and dying plants on there. Pretty much moving down to aquatic plants, it's kind of the same routine, so I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself too much, but you just want to kind of take a look into your tank, and if you see any leaves that are struggling or just too long or getting in the way of other plants, you just want to get some scissors, trim them up, and that's going to lead to better, more lush plant growth. And another tip you can do is if you see a leaf kind of like this one right here, so if you see my scissors, the one right behind here is showing a little bit of algae on it. So you can see it's kind of black. It's a good thing just to go ahead and trim that off because that's going to help reduce the chance of an algae outbreak. And you can see this water is there's a lot of floating debris in here. So doing a little water change is going to be good, and getting rid of that algae covered leaf is going to be great. And the other thing I kind of want to do is if you look at the top here, some of the plants have reached the surface. And as you can tell, there's a bunch of holes and they're just not doing too good. So what I want to do with these, since they're a stem plant, is just hack them back and either take them all the way out or replant them somewhere else. And I want to, trim up some of this val because it is doing excellent. But with val, it's always good to trim your val because that's going to help encourage it to get stronger roots and grow longer. And it'll open up some of the light, so more of these plants down here will have more light to get a little bit brighter. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to use our handy dandy scissors. We're gonna do a couple quick snips of some snipping, and we'll be on our way to a filter change and then a little water change, and we're done maintaining this massive jungle. So let's get some snips. All right, so we got a good amount of val out. You can see it already brightened the tank up. The next thing I want to tackle are some of these stem plants. Forgive me, I forget the name of these guys, but they grow like weeds. And once they get to the surface, it just kind of causes them to not do so well. But with stem plants, the greatest part about them is you can trim them at any point and replant them throughout the tank. So what I want to do is get my scissors as low as I can down here. So probably right down to here. You can see right there. We're just going to kind of blindly snip right there. And you can see that took a huge chunk out, but we're going to grab some tweezers here. So you can see that's a big boy. So I think there's an open area on this side. That would look pretty cool. Right here. And you just want to squeeze it down into the substrate as far as it'll go. And just like that. That'll allow that plant to get more light. It'll give it more space to grow. And it kind of filled up that area kind of nicely. So I kind of like how that looks. I just want to kind of arrange it a little bit better. Yeah, so just like that. We cleaned up our problem area over here. That's letting more light in down here. And then I used the trimming over in an area around here that was kind of barren and empty. So I really like that look. And I think that one plant was the entire top part. Yeah, it's already all gone. So just like that, we didn't really do a lot. We just trimmed it, replanted it, and that'll keep on growing. And we can trim it once it gets a little bit bigger. Right now, to finish the trimming off, I'm gonna go through the Anubis leaves and try to just trim some of those up. And we'll be on our way. I think we're only like 20, 30 minutes into this and it's going really smooth. So let's keep trimming. All right, so I'm happy with where we're at with trimming. I don't want to do too much because this tank is still kind of feeling itself out and growing into itself. The one thing I do want to do is go grab some root tabs and kind of insert them along the back and insert them all down here just so we can double up on the substrate's nutrient level. So let me go grab those and we'll start putting in some root tabs. If you ever noticed your stem plants are kind of struggling or just not growing that well, I always recommend getting root tabs. The Chem Florist tabs or the API root tabs work wonders. I've also used Aquarium Co-op's root tabs. They're all pretty much the same. I just like the Florist tabs because they come in a 40 pack, so there's a lot of them. We're not going to use 40, but we're just going to put a good amount in our hand here. Just like so. And we're going to figure out where we put our tweezers. There they are, blended right into the thing there. And basically you want to, don't put these super close together, but you want to kind of grid pattern them out and put them next to a grouping of plants. So we're going to take this guy, go down here, shove all the way to the bottom, give it a little cover and you're good. And we're just going to keep on moving. Oh, I lost that one.
Can you spot the root tab?
There it is. Let me get a better grip on it. Reason you want to insert these as deep as possible is because if they get access to your water column, it'll leach a whole bunch of nutrients and that'll cause, some bad things to happen. So you want to make sure they're as deep as you can get them so that the roots get the nutrients and not the water column. All right, so I'm just kind of cleaning up the rim here after trimming all the plants. We did the trimming, we did the plant wall, we did the root tabs. So now before I do a water change, I like to clean one of the filters out. We have 2 FX6s running this tank. I want to just clean out this filter. I haven't touched it since before we even made this tank. It was filled up running the cichlid tank that we had here. And we're just going to take it out to the backyard and clean it in a bucket of tank water. And then the filter itself, we're going to use a hose just to get any big debris out. I'm not too worried about the beneficial bacteria in this tank because we have a whole nother tank filter on the side running the tank. So we're just going to ensure that this is good for another couple months. We'll see how dirty it is. I doubt it's gonna be that dirty, but hey, we'll see what it's like. So we'll get her unplugged here.
And unlike the last video we did, this one's actually been running.
Yeah, Max is not gonna have a stinky filter time like the last one when we left it unplugged for about 2 weeks, which was not good. Don't recommend it. We rolling?
We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Silhouetted, but
We're silhouetted. Not good. Do you want to go from this side?
yeah, probably.
In?
I'm just
Okay,
gonna
fair.
let it run for now.
So where you guys can look at the dogs. They're enjoying the backyard.
Yeah.
But with an FX6, definitely not going to do a full tutorial on how to clean this. If you want to see a tutorial on how to clean this in detail, that is on the channel. But I just like to start with taking the plug out. It'll drain the filter really fast. And then I start to work on the top spinny things here. Just like that. Boom. Take this off. All right, well, this filter was definitely a little bit more dirty than I was expecting, but I don't think I've cleaned this for at least 3.5, 4 months. FX6s normally can go that long, but as you can see here, just want to show you before we start cleaning the sponges out, this water is crystal clear tank water. And the first thing I noticed is if you see all these white specks on here, those are all snails. So they've all retreated into the filter and we want to get that off. So I'm just going to go ahead and rinse this off. And goodness gracious, you can see how dirty that gets. And we're not looking for crystal clear, but we do want to try to get some of them off. Go ahead and put that there. We'll just set that over the side. Now for the fun part, rip this out. And in here, it's pretty dirty. I don't know if the sun will allow it, but there's a lot of sand in there. The sand that builds right here is definitely going to affect the water flow because that's just taking up space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the hose out, dump this on its side, and just spray it clean. Well, all right. And that's a clean FX6. We went ahead and just rinsed everything out like I said I was going to do. I added some more carbon and Purigen into there just to help with the tank stay clear and healthy. And what we're going to do is just insert this back into here. Something I like to do with my FX6s is I like to clean them before I do a water change, because before I start the water change, I'm going to fill this back up with tank water just to ensure we keep as much beneficial bacteria as we can. But we'll click this back on, screw it in, and we'll fast forward to us inside the tank, putting the pipes back on here and running the water. I don't want to do a huge water change. I just want to take out maybe, you know, this much, and that would probably be 20, 30 gallons. So a small water change, just not to disturb too much at once. And how we're going to do that is I use a Python water change system hooked up to a CJ Ultra Zero utility pump. This thing moves water quickly. So what we can do is get this hooked up to this guy down here, plop this in, power it on, it'll drain the water quickly, and then we can fill it right back up with the Python. So let's get that situated. All right, well, we did our water change. I'm just gonna throw some water conditioner in here while it's filling up. And while that's filling, we're just going to kind of touch up the glass, give it a good old once over, get any spilled water, clean up the mess here, and then we'll come back and show you it finished and looking pretty. So thank you for following along. Show you the end shots if you want to stick around. But other than that, I hope you have a great weekend, and thank you for joining me on another fun aquascaping maintenance session. Till next time, guys.